to use them by Twitter, and then we will also forward your questions by Twitter to the panelists. And for the introductions for the speakers, I will not dwell so much upon their excellent CVs, since they are all more or less included in the program, and then I hope we also will spare some time of our very busy schedule. And in facility, and also during the lunches, everybody has to wear their identity badges. This is due to security reasons, and those of you who are not having your badges on will not actually be able to enter the conference room once you leave it. Should it be too hot and you take off your jacket, so you move the badge to your shirts. There will also be plenty of opportunities during the breaks that we have, and we have also the possibility, as I said, to ask questions by Twitter. Since you will all be able to, of course, use social media and Twitter, phones do not need to be switched off, but they can at least be on soundless, so we don't hear your beautiful ringing notes that you have chosen for yourself. Those of you who do not know how to silence your phones, ask someone who is young, because they know everything about how to do things. I usually ask my children. And should any one of you still get a phone call during the conference, I will not allow anyone to speak on the phone here inside. Then the conference will be silent and we will all listen to your conversation. Finally, at the lunch break, you will find tables that are flagged with the names of different sectors like telecom, infrastructure, banking, and finance. The idea is that in order to facilitate you to meet with people from the same sector, hopefully business acquaintances or upcoming business acquaintances, you can have lunch at the same table with people from your own branch. I am certain that you will meet very nice people with the same mindset and interests as you. And finally, let me also remind all the speakers and panelists that I will keep the time. I will keep the time as gentle as a Swede and as stern as a German. And I hope you will keep your time too, because if we do not keep our time, we will actually infringe on others' time. So it's a question of me as being as just as possible. These are the Twitter tags that you can use in order to leave it to the reception, and they will then send your questions to the panelists. Sorry about this long introduction about all the practicalities, but the devil is in the details, as you know. Let us then move to the first part of the conference. In the opening session, we will have the honor to listen to the speeches of Her Excellency, Minister for Trade, Dr. Eva Björling of the Government of the Kingdom of Sweden, and His Excellency, Minister of Planning and International Cooperation, Mr. Said Abdullah Mohammed. Welcome. Of the Federal Government of Somalia. We will then move on to the conference proper with an introduction with a recent study on business opportunities in Somalia. And now, the first keynote speaker is the official hostess of the conference. Please welcome Sweden's Minister for Trade, Her Excellency, Dr. Eva Björling. Please.
Thank you for a very nice introduction. Minister, Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by welcoming you all to Stockholm and to this important conference. Today is an occasion to come together and discuss the business opportunities that are now emerging in the Somali territories. It's also a chance to learn more about the transformation taking place in Somalia, private sector activities, and the role of the diaspora. The Somali people are well known for their entrepreneurship and have a long-standing history of trade. Despite the long period of instability, achievements have been impressive. Entrepreneurship and innovative solutions have been flourishing in many sectors. Telecom investments are among the clearest signs that Somalia's economy has continued to grow despite what has happened. The telecom sector has become one of the most sophisticated on the continent, with the cheapest calling rates in Africa, and the possibility to conduct money transfers by help of mobile phones. The over 20-year-long civil war in Somalia could make the country look doubtful as an investment destination. And it may surprise some of you that the Swedish government has taken the initiative to organize this conference. However, the environment and perceptions are changing. The situation today is more hopeful than for many years. There are, of course, many challenges, and the conditions on the ground in many areas remain unstable. But there are now greater chances than for quite some time for Somalia to take the path towards long-term peace and stable state building. In Mogadishu, reconstruction projects are underway across the city. Business is booming for construction companies, and land prices are rising rapidly. In Somaliland, relative peace and stability have allowed for a vibrant private sector to develop. And supporting this development is a high priority for Sweden. We are a long-time development partner with Somalia, and in addition, we have one of the largest Somali diasporas in Europe. About 50,000 people of Somali origin are living in Sweden today. This represents great opportunities. And I have initiated a project which set out to enhance the trade facilitating effect of immigrants in Sweden. This project, named Cosmopolite, contains several components. It sets out to establish networks where foreign-born entrepreneurs can meet, exchange experience, and support each other. Experiences from countries such as the United States showed that such networks are imperative in fostering trust relationships and lowering cross-border information frictions, which in turn lowers trade costs and spurs trade. To seize the current opportunities and to prepare for future engagement, the government of Sweden, in collaboration with Business Sweden, decided to organize today's conference. The main purposes are, of course, to highlight business opportunities, provide a platform for new business partnerships to evolve, and promote the role of the private sector in contributing to job creation and development. And we recognize that the Somali diaspora have been the driving force in supporting economic regeneration. It has made a major contribution to the Somali economy and livelihoods through remittances, humanitarian assistance, and participation in recovery and reconstruction efforts. The Somali diaspora has long been the major investor in the Somali territories and provided most of the startup capital for small and medium-sized enterprises. A vibrant private sector and increased business activity can enhance peace and development. Unemployment is very high among young people in Somalia, which enables militia to recruit young men in particular. New jobs, instead, will provide an alternative to taking up arms. Creating the enabling environment to actively involve the diaspora and the private sector in the economy can, of course, significantly contribute to Somalia's recovery. Today, high operating costs, poor infrastructure, security concerns, and lack of transparency are some of the major impediments to successful private sector development. A sound business climate is needed to promote sustainable growth on equal terms. Somaliland has already taken significant steps to improve the enabling environment. In the World Bank report, Doing Business in Hargeisa 2012, it was above average for sub-Saharan Africa in, for example, construction permits, getting electricity, and registering property. The first steps to give the private sector the necessary confidence to invest in Somalia would involve further improving security, establishing law and order, and strong public financial management. A vibrant private sector with companies making investments and creating jobs promotes growth and expands opportunities for poor people. The international community needs to support this endeavor. We all have a role to play in promoting economic growth and stability, and Sweden will provide support to promote increased livelihood opportunities for Somalis, not least the youth. For example, we are already supporting the African Enterprise Challenge Fund, which in a short period of time has helped more than 20 Somali businesses to grow. Sweden is a small and open economy and as such a highly trade-focused country. Trade with the wider world has built and continues to build Sweden's prosperity. Sweden's development from poverty to a welfare society is really the history of free trade. Thus, free trade is a cornerstone of Swedish foreign and business policy. My government's ambition is that the EU should develop into the world's most open economy. We are therefore also pushing for the EU to reform rules and systems that are hampering trade and development. Sweden is, as I just said, an export-oriented country and home to more multinational corporations per capita than most other countries. Our exports account for about 50% of our GDP, and our prosperity therefore depends on our ability to compete in the global market and on our ability to discover and enter new promising markets at an early stage. Global trade is not the only driving force for the development of Africa's potential, of course. Boosting regional exchange is equally important. Regional integration can act as a stepping stone towards successful integration into a wider global economy. Regional cooperation is also very high on the agenda with the AU and regional organizations in Africa. In conclusion, I acknowledge that trade between Sweden and Somalia today is very, very modest. But I truly believe that there is great potential to expand our relations, and I'm also very glad to see such a huge interest here at this conference. I believe that Sweden's knowledge and services in many business sectors can respond to the needs of Somalia. Swedish companies are highly internationalized and competitive and at the forefront in areas such as environmental technology, IT, telecom, power generation, and agribusiness, and that together, of course, with health and life science. So with that, I wish you a successful conference today, and I hope that you also will find new business opportunities between Sweden and Somalia. Enjoyable and productive day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, I do have one question, of course. It is when you speak with Swedish business people who are known as doing very good business but are fairly risk-aware about this initiative, what type of reactions do you get from them?
Well, I believe that Swedes in many cases follow traditional pattern when it comes to trade outside Sweden. And that means then we go to the very near neighborhood, Norway, Denmark, Finland, and if they are brave enough, maybe they go also to Germany. And if they can speak French, maybe also France. But that's very often how it starts. But with all the Swedes who has got another background, for example, Somalia, life can become much, much easier. And you can take that step outside European Union immediately. And I've seen so many wonderful examples in many countries throughout the world, also countries where you have an unstable situation. I'm thinking about Iraq as one example. If you follow a Swede with a foreign background, then it can go much, much easier, better, because they know the language, and of course also the business culture, and they know the traditions, and they have a network. And therefore, I just recommend you to go together with Cosmopolite. We have these networks throughout Sweden, from Umeå in the north, which is, to be honest, not so much in the north, but anyway, and down to Malmö in the south. And I can just wish you very good luck with that. You can also find that on internet.
So we diaspora people will be the
That's
key.
Absolutely the key for success.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please. Thank you so much, Dr. Björling. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, there has eluded no one that this conference has a very high level of representation of politicians and administrators from both the Federal Republic of Somalia and the federal member states. And let us thus welcome His Excellency Minister of Planning and International Cooperation, Mr. Said Abdullah Mohammed of the Federal Government of Somalia, as our next keynote speaker. Please, Mr. Minister.
Minister of Trade of Government Sweden, State Secretary of Ministry of International Development Cooperation, representative of business leader, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure and honor to address this important conference on Somali business opportunity organized by Government Sweden. First and foremost, allow me to greet with most cordial feeling all the participants in this significant conference and commend the Swedish authority for the excellent organization of this conference and express our heartfelt thank you for warm hospitality extended to us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm encouraged by the leader from the public and private sector, international business experts, and investors that convened here today in Stockholm to debate business ideas, exchange views, and explore potential partnership and network with business leaders from across Somalia with view to showcasing Somalia that is ready for foreign investment. I commend the Somali business community to continue the trade activity in the face of critical economic and security conditions for over 2 decades of civil strife. The federal government of Somalia is committed to connect the local business and the world and maintaining international standards by improving the integrity of Somali's business culture and process, as well as ensuring understanding the core value and corporate culture of our international business partners. Showcase Somalia that is ready for foreign direct investment. Together, the political and business leader will discuss ways of ensuring that Somalia turns its economic growth into the real prosperity. The Somali government, through its various relevant departments and ministries, are poised to ensure a conducive environment for both national and international investors and all those looking to venture into Somalia to explore the abundant investment opportunity available through the country. Through the panel and work group, it is the role of business leaders to promote the Somali market opportunity, inform the foreign investor about the growing sector and how they can utilize this opportunity, and convince them to come forward with their investment projects. I hope you will have ample time and opportunity to vote strategic partnership with the potential investor in the coming few days. Ladies and gentlemen, Somalia has got on a path of peace and stability. Let me begin by endorsing that Somalia has come a long way and is truly seeing the end of tunnel. The government has set out a work plan on democracy, justice and rule of law, security, national reconciliation, and economic recovery. Many have contributed to this return with the partnership of international friends, the Somali business community, and many of the diaspora, whose faces are familiar, have contributed to their rebirth of Somalia and continue to do to the present. But understand, of course, that risk and danger are not fully eliminated yet. As a part of the effort of the Institution for Public Financial Management, the Governor and Board of Directors of Central Bank of Somalia were recently approved by the Cabinet and decree by the President. This appointment will be obviously boosted Somali efforts to regain its status and to ensure financial stability. The central bank is essential to manage government revenue in a transparent manner and contribute to the economic policy of the state with view of creation through worth and effective economic institution in the country after many years of economic collapse. The special financing facility is the first practical demonstration of federal government commitment to the principle of New Deal as strengthened public financial management reform effort. It has been operational for almost a year now. The arrangement supported the payment of civil servants' salaries where the different government institutions have paid the monthly salary of their employees through the SFF. The federal government of Somalia, since established as a permanent system in 2012, has asked the international financial institution to engage with the financial institution following more than 2-decade break in bilateral relations. The restoration of operation with the World Bank, IMF, and other international and regional financial institutions is important in the construction of Somalia and rebuilding its public financial management. As a part of mandate and core task of Ministry of Planning and International Cooperation has embarked on ambitious project of restoring the national statistics system through primary data collection and civil registration function with the aim of producing credible financial, economic, and social indicators in the country. Those of you who have been interested in Somalia and have been following the events there, knowing that it's an exciting time in Somalia. There are some compelling positive turnaround in Somalia. I would like to mention a few of those encouraging signs. As a part of peace dividend, Mogadishu and other cities, some sort of construction site. Many of this construction booming is financed by the Somali diaspora that is returned to contribute to the rebirth and reconstruction of their homeland. Some hotels of world-class standard have been built. Hundreds of business entities joint ventures have been registered in recent few years. It doesn't take that much to start up in business in Somalia. Also, other sectors, telecommunication, ICT, remittance, production, and export and import also trade as active. Since the defeat of army opposition groups, the country becomes a more secure and peaceful place to conduct business. Thanks to better security measures, Somalia is now able to attract foreign investors. The foreign investment law is before the parliament to be passed. There are various sectors of investment to explore. This includes real estate, food, agriculture, and information technology. Many investors have already expressed their desire to establish business in Somalia. Many have visited the country to survey and ascertain the prospect of doing business in Somalia. In the process, there are many waiting security insurance to make their investment in Somalia. Today, Somalia on proper course to revive its exports, including banana, livestock, fishery, and other sectors. Many of my probably attended this recent World Trade Center conference in Dubai, March last year, was called for business investment in Somalia to revive its economic resurgence disrupted by over 20 years of civil strife. Many investment summits have been held over the past few years. Business platforms are being established to discuss national economic and financial development. This forum, the reform reflects the changing economic landscape in the country. Somali entrepreneurs have played a significant role in connecting the diaspora and their families back home through the lifeline service remittance hawala, as well as relief activism of the famine victim and professional school service. We have many cases of successful history. We have many companies already in the ground, and they did a lot of progress, like telecommunication, remittance, and other, etc. And also now we are looking for more financial sector to be improved. Indicated that there are potential Somali entrepreneurs who can provide ideal business partners with their foreign counterpart. Today, the Somali entrepreneurs are source of employment and other social importance. Somalia is a rich country with all prospect investment potential. Is enjoying all the natural resources necessary to the thriving business, such as large fertile land, 8 million hectares, plenty of water, underground water, sufficient rainfall, 2 rivers. The longest coastal line in Africa, abundant with all types of fish, including rare fish, minerals, oil, gas, and etc. Renewable energy, livestock, such cattle, goats, sheep. Tourism, Somalia enjoy beautiful land with mild weather through the year. Ladies and gentlemen, all the Somali needs in peace and security that can be achieved through economic recovery and creation of employment for the young so that they do not join the piracy and armed insurgents. The federal government remaining committed to supporting the private sector to create jobs and make inroad into the problem of unemployment. I particularly call on the Swedish business community to come forward to win the future reconstruction contract in Somalia by forming joint venture and partnership with Somali companies. I conclude my remarks with the conviction that this conference on Somali business opportunity is timely milestone of paramount importance for business development in Somalia. While I wish that our meeting will be blessed with propitious results, I would like to convey my gratitude to you and distinguished participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. And we are very happy to have you here.
Yeah,
please.
Thank you.
Now let's move on to deeper into the issue at hand. And before we do that, Mr. Ahmed Obsiye is here somewhere, isn't he? I hope he is. There you are. So please, you have to move all the way. So you can start moving, and then I will just give a couple of more practical details. There are several people around with name tags who says, "Ask me," from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Business Sweden, and do ask them anything you like, and they will try to guide you. And especially if you wish to meet people, don't ask them the meaning of life, because they haven't found out that yet. But ask them if you wish to get in touch with people who you know are in the participant list, but you haven't been able to identify, and so on. And just another reminder is that our hostess, Minister Björling, will be leaving us in some 4 or 5 minutes because she has other important issues to attend to, and we are very grateful that you have been here with us, and hope that this initiative of the conference, I will report back to you on our conclusions and what we will go on with. I guess there are people who have that assignment, not me. Now, please now welcome Mr. Ahmed Obsiye. He's the director of AFN Consulting and is one of the Swedish Somalians, not the diaspora, because we consider you as a part of Sweden. And he will present the conclusions of an extensive study on business opportunities in the Somali territories and how the Somali diaspora here in Sweden evaluates them. The floor is yours. You can speak from there, Ahmed. But there is a remote. There is a remote, of course. We have all technical facilities, and I think it works. There you go.
Oh, okay.
So please go ahead. The floor is yours.
Let me just try it out. There you go. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Go. Bismillah. Firstly, I would like to thank the Swedish Ministry of Foreign Affairs for inviting us to speak at this conference and present our study. My name is Ahmed Obsiye, as he said. I'm the director of... I'm the director of AFN Consulting, which is a consultancy firm established by a few young Somali academics. I myself hold an MSc in Civil Engineering and Urban Design. We conducted a study in Sweden and went to Somalia for field interviews and data collection. This study is called Business Opportunities in Somalia. Today, I'm here to present the conclusions of this study, as time unfortunately won't allow us to go into great detail into this. We've also conducted a market research to find out who's willing to invest in Somalia among the diaspora in Sweden. I'll present the findings in the coming slides. For any further inquiries, our team is here today. Abdi's over there, raise your hand. Ahmed, Sadiq, and Awukar. And you'll be able to receive, and we will gladly help you with the information regarding this study, as you will be able to receive the study as a whole via hard copy or via email as soon as you get your details. So please do not hesitate to approach us in between sessions today. So moving swiftly on to the sectors we've identified to have the most opportunities for investment for the Somali diaspora and or backed by established ethnic Swedish companies are these: construction, small medium enterprises and consumables, energy, agriculture, fishery, health sector, real estate, oil and mining. And the challenges for these sectors, for instance, the construction sector are fairly high, but as the saying goes, the higher the risk, the greater the return. So there's a good opportunity to create job opportunities for Somalis and profits for the investors. So security-wise, it depends on who you know and who your clients are. For instance, if you're working with a government institution, the higher the risk, and if you're working with the private sector, there's less risk. So as our table shows here, do not be frightened by the red boxes, by the way. They're just merely there to inform you. But as we all know, you have to have a contact or a partner in the country for you to be able to invest. So I'm sure these aspects will all be highlighted during the panel discussions today. So these challenges are of great importance for the sectors. For example, if we take the agriculture sector, which is the infrastructure is highly important, as you have to transport goods from farms to markets, and the goods can't be destroyed or rot. And as of now, the infrastructure is really bad. So that's a huge risk. So when it comes to fishing, freezer trucks are a huge demand at the minute. Moving on to the Somali diaspora here in Sweden. Before I jump into this, I just have to highlight that when we found these results regarding the Somali diaspora, it was highly surprising, as most Swedish media portray Somalis as low-educated, unemployed, among other things, yeah? But these results actually shows that this is not the case, because 70% of our respondents have a university degree. 40% of them had an annual income of $100,000 to $150,000. So, and 40% of these people came to Sweden in between 1995 to 2000. But what's more astonishing than that is that of those who are strongly willing to invest in Somalia, 64% are females, while 35% are males. And this we have to highlight because it's not common, so very unusual. So I would like to recognize this fact. Having been there and seen the actual markets, it's male-dominated. And if you look across all sectors in Somalia. So these figures for the Somali diaspora is highly encouraging. Before I go, before Thomas starts asking me questions, I would like to thank my AFN team, the whole CEDA Somalia team, especially Maria Strisman, who's been wonderful support, and everyone we've interviewed and gladly help us out to make this research available to all future and present investors. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Could we just go back to the picture with the challenges, the red ones that yes. I was frightened about?
Don't be.
Don't be. Now, of course, the question of legislation of investment, for example, you can have legislation, but then you need to have some implementation of the legislation. Have you considered that as a risk moment of knowing that do you have good legislation, but will you have also
Exactly.
correct implementation?
Yes, we've considered that fact because the implementation is there in some ways and sometimes not there. It depends on who you know and who you're working with. So your partner, if you're a Swedish company or Somali diaspora here, your partner is extremely important for you. So
Yes.
yes,
And if we should have at least no reds here,
yeah,
but yellows and some more greens.
yeah.
There are, of course, different type of things to do in different areas and sectors. But what would be the most significant step forward in order to make the whole graph to be less red?
Well, the most significant stability.
Stability.
Yeah, and security, both politically and security-wise. And after that, I think as soon as people see that is stable politically and security-wise, it's very simple. Everybody would invest.
Now, the study you made on the Somali diaspora in Sweden and the willingness to invest, fascinating figures, especially concerning the amount of women investors,
Yes.
and that they are actually the double of men in proportion. This was an attitude survey, in a way, of are you willing to? Considering the very small amount of investment still, I mean, you have a lot of remittances and with the Hawala system, but commercial investments are fairly small. When will we see those attitudes turn into more practical investments? If you would look into the crystal ball of the future.
Well, it depends on if it keeps going the way it's going today. I think it will see in the near future. Well, coming 5 years, coming 2 years. So it all depends on how would I say it? It all depends on how this stability works out, and if it goes in the same way, in the same direction as it goes today, across whole Somalia.
Okay. So thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Now, let's then move on to our first panel, which is on telecom and information and communication technologies. I have, meanwhile, the participants, if you would please move towards the ladies who will put mics on you. I will just try to introduce the panel and the issues at hand. As you know, telecom, information communication technologies is a very strong business sector that is central in the Somali growth. And the progress is driven mostly by strong demand for telecom technology, natural, and a variety of related innovative services. I was fascinated also by the flashback system that was introduced also, I think, first in Africa, which makes it much easier and cheaper for those receiving the calls. Very innovative.
Go there, yeah.
And the panel will cover mobile and internet infrastructure and services related to operations and business support systems, fixed and mobile broadband convergence, as well as solutions of e-governance services. We have, however, a couple of slight changes in the program. As it was stated in the program, Mr. Abdullah Mohammed, CEO of Telecom, has not been able to attend us, so he will not participate in the panel. And the CEO of Telecom, Mr. Ahmed Yusuf, has unfortunately not been able to join us either. And however, he will be replaced by Mr. Abdullah Mohammed, who is International Corporate Relations Officer of Telecom. And then Mr. Abdurrashid Douale, of the CEO of Dabashiri of the Somali International Funds Transfer Company, who is the largest owner of the telecom company Samtel, will join us. Furthermore, I would also like to welcome Mr. Adam Sheikhdun. He is the BOD Standing Committee member of Golis Telecom. Moreover, we have also from Ericsson, the Director of Global Business Management, Mr. Anders Friberg, and also Professor Björn Persson of the Royal Institute of Technology. So please, gentlemen, do join us in the panel here in front. I would like to have all of you standing here and sharing these tables. We will start with the presentation of the Somali telecom companies, and then I will move on to Mr. Professor Björn Persson, who has an extensive knowledge of African communications infrastructure and capacity building, also in Somalia, actually. And then finally, Mr. Anders Friberg of Ericsson will take the floor and tell about Ericsson's view on investments in Africa. Gentlemen, please move closer to our technician. And I have the remote. Isn't it excellent? Then I can still command this. Who would like to start? Would you like to start? Please. No, the professors and the guests. Mr. Raleigh.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
No, well, there you are.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. I don't know whether you can hear me very well. First of all, I want to thank the Swedish government.
Just move the microphone closer, so I think that will be it.
Thank you.
So.
I would like to thank the Swedish government for the invitation, and also to recognize the role the business sector play inside the country. And I am not a technical person. I'm just standing for the CEO of Somtel, who is part of the Habshil group. So if you ask me any technical question, I will be struggling. But I'm here just to give you just brief information on why we're doing telecommunications and the market. And I hope that will convince you to do more business in the country. The pictures I have here is just general picture of the country and who we are. As you can see, the Habshil here, we are well known with remittance service, banking, and of course telecommunications. And many of the people we serve are people like here, majority who are Somali diaspora and other diaspora community all over the world. And we have a presence here in Sweden and of course other European country. I would not go much more about the Habshil remittance because I think I'll be the other sessions.
You'll be back on that.
Yes. So I'll just stick to the telecommunications. The Somali telecommunication market is very competitive. It is, as the minister said earlier, one of the advanced companies are operating there. Many of them working with companies like Ericsson's and Alcatel's and other Western-based telecommunication company. But more needs to be done. The competition is still, I think, it's good for the markets. And still there's challenges inside the country, such as no interconnections. So if you are stuck, if you use one company, you cannot talk to other companies. And still more challenge and needs to be addressed. At the moment, fiber optics, other investors are coming to the market, and it's widely used throughout the countries, through the internet, other means to communicate. I think we Somalis have a nomadic culture up to extent. I know some people will not accept that, but I think mobiles and telecommunication complement that. You are on the move and you need a mobile and other means to travel, and I think telecommunication make it easier for that. And of course, many Somalis are all over the world, and I think Facebook and Twitter again address that traveling culture. So technology is the key for many ways Somalia development, and I welcome you to invest, and I will answer any question you might have. So I leave my other colleagues here to take it from there. Thank you.
So thank you very much. Should we then?
Thank you.
Should we then move on to Hormuz Telecom of Somalia, who is a privately held telecommunications company based in Mogadishu and established, I think it was April 2002 you started.
2002, yeah,
yes.
You're right. Yeah.
So,
and thanks to the Swedish Foreign Ministry and for organizing this summit. I also thank the Somali Swedish diaspora for their continuous contribution back home. And ladies and gentlemen, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you all of you. I would say Assalamu alaikum, Sabah Wanaksan. Sabah Wanaksan means a lot where I came from in Somalia. Okay, and I would like to share with you some insights as the gentleman said, Hormuz was established 2002, and that was at the peak of, and it tells a lot the environment that this company was created and how they came to the top to be the leading operator in the nation. And for the next few minutes, I will be focusing on, if you can.
There you go.
Okay. So I will share some insights with you on the general telecom overview of the country. We have almost, I think, a raw data of 4 million people subscribers in the telecom industry, and that's across 5 major networks, and the Hormuz Telecom is the leading one. And recently, the trend was coming from voice to data with the introduction of the fiber optic. And we had recently we had an agreement, and we have installed fiber optic through the terrestrial, and even the other one from the sea network has come across. And as we speak now, the major government institutions and major NGOs are our first service, what do you call, takers, should I say. And if that's the case, the other thing is, and to talk about Hormuz, we have about 7,000, I think, 7,000 staff working for the company. And we have, for the first time, a woman, so should I say, and member of the board for the company, and 5% women, female, working for the company. And that's a great step in terms of the environment. One last thing I want to share with you is about how much we have done in the areas of the social responsibility, whereby it's ingrained within the company and ethos that from the word go, what they have invested a lot was sharing what they had with the local people, because of the absence of what do you call government institutions for all that time, and normally they're very noticeable. They have a massive footprint in terms of the education sector, where they have established, Hormuz have established the first Somali school for the blind, which boards for almost 300 students. We also supply, actually, funny enough, it's not funny, but that's the reality. And the energy needs for major hospitals in Mogadishu, about six of them, and the generators and the fuel as well. And if also from time to time, Somalia is prone for disasters, and you may have heard on the news that we contribute a lot for the disaster victims, whether it's the floods and whether it's the other disasters. And I would just want to add one more thing, which probably is of an interest to the investors, and that word will come a lot in the talk today, and that's the regulatory framework. Right now, as we speak, we have an ICT law on this list, or should I say, on this last stage in the Parliament, and probably that will clear out some obstacles and some difficulties, probably that foreigners will meet in terms of investing in Somalia. And to conclude, so that I can give my friends and the chance, is if you are investing, actually, I have to say something about this. EVC Plus, you might have many of you guys who have went to Somalia must have used, I think, the EVC Plus technology. It's a mobile money transfer system. And one of the biggest users of this service are the NGOs, because what they did is it removed the middleman to reach the poor straight, so they can send money straight to the poor, and that has been empowering the poor people to have their own decision. And one last thing probably I will conclude is, and if you are planning to invest in Somalia, and I will encourage you to add into your plans so that it should be part of the local people and what you're going to do as a company. If you don't, they will add into your plan, because quite recently we had a meeting with one of our regional representatives, elders, and they were not demanding, but in an application. What do they want? They want that we should make for them an airstrip, because of the infrastructure, there's no roads. They will expect a company like Hormuz to provide roads and airstrips. And that's the general situation, how people have gone in terms of expectations, in terms of when you're investing. Thanks a lot.
So, thank you. And finally, then, let's move to Golis Telecom of Somalia, who is actually the largest telecommunications operator in the northeast of Somalia. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, everybody. Allow me to give you a baseline view of Golis operations.